There we go. Pacific Chill and Afternoon Swim. So these two beautiful fragrances, gorgeous quality, everyone knows them. This one, great performance, great smell, bad performance, but better smell, matter of preference after all. Afternoon Swim, your typical, very citrusy, straightforward. It's mandarin orange, Sicilian orange, bergamot and ginger combo, then with a little bit of ambergris. It doesn't seem to work in here because ambergris nowadays, or ambroxan, is used to amp up fragrances usually. It amped up the projection, just not the longevity for some reason. It's not the strongest fragrance. I do not share the sentiment that this fragrance is like a 2-hour fragrance. It's totally not for me personally, but it is rather weak when it comes to longevity. I would say it's in the 4 to 5 hour range. If you're lucky, you get the 6 hours. The projection is super strong. If you're outside for like a couple of hours in summer, yeah, this will last. But you're not getting an entire day or anything. You're not getting a full work day. Don't count with more than 6 hours with this. This is rather weak, unfortunately. Next, we have Pacific Chill. There's a bunch of notes in here, actually. This one is a bit more complex. This is basically your fruity, citrusy mix. Basically a bunch of citruses and mint in the top. So it's minty and citrusy fresh, but then also with this juicy, fruity apricot in the heart, a little bit of rose, dates, and stuff like that. So it's sweet, fruity, and fresh minty, basically. Very beautiful combination. I know the smell, I don't have to test them. I know these are both beautiful. So we are going to compare them to a house. And this house is actually Lattafa. It's basically a sub-brand by Lattafa. It's called Maison Alhambra. Maison is French for house, but this is not a French brand. Maison Alhambra is in UAE or something. I think it's Arab Emirates. I think it's UAE. And Lattafa is a UAE clone brand. Basically, Lattafa has a number of great, you could say, and well-known copies, cheapies, whatever. These fragrances are called Jean Lowe, I think. Jean Lowe, it says something like that, I don't know. Basically a sub-brand of Lattafa, as I said. So Vibe, this one is called Vibe, by the way. This one is Azure. So Azure is Afternoon Swim and Vibe is Pacific Chill, basically. Their entire theme basically revolves around copying existing fragrances, like with the whole thing. With the presentation, they copy everything, right? They want you to know this is a copy of Rose Prick by Tom Ford, for example. And usually it comes, of course, with a super cheap price tag, but also with the caveat that it's usually, of course, not the same quality. If it was, I would be sticking with all of these. And the caps, obviously you can see, this is usually that part, and it's not coming off usually, but the presentation is not bad. It's just so blatantly copied that I don't care about it. These aside, just for a bit more space, just for the sake of fairness, I'm gonna give him a spray on hand, so we get the full experience. I'm gonna test the sprayer too here. Yeah, it's a basic spray here. Okay, the opening, not bad, very fresh, but also you immediately get the detergent feel a little bit, and also you can't smell like a lot of it at once because it smells very alcoholic, but not bad. So that one's decent from the start, at least. Let's just test this one. So we saw the sprayer already, so I'm just gonna stick with the smell here. Okay, this one smells very synthetic. It actually is burning in the nose. Not as bad as this one. It's just, actually it is. This burns, man. Okay, you can't take it like all the way in because it will burn your nose. It's settling. And I can immediately tell this is sweeter than Pacific Chill. Pacific Chill smells more aromatic. So this one is closer, at least from the opening. And on the sprayer, it smells closer to Afternoon as well. Yeah, it's just the quality difference that you can smell immediately here. So Vibe has, yeah, it smells super syrupy actually. It smells like, this one smells some kind of a fresh cocktail mixed with like citruses, apricot and mint. And this one smells syrupy sweet in the base. You can tell that there's like something underneath all that freshness that smells way more syrupy and sweet. Although I don't think that this is bad, I just don't like it. Yeah, it's just the quality. The problem is the quality. You're getting the experience, you could say. You get an idea of the fragrance. It's good to understand what type of fragrance you're getting when you're thinking about getting Pacific Chill. But then again, you can decant nowadays basically everywhere. I have smelled, I think, one other Pacific Chill dupe, and this one is better. So these go for like 20 to 30 bucks. 400 ml. This is not bad. I think it's decent, but the beauty of Pacific Chill is that you can wear it in summertime, although it's slightly sweet and fruity. This one, I feel as though it would be almost a bit choking in summertime. So I gave it like 2 sprays, I think 1 or 2 sprays, and it's very sweet. It does have this minty feel, it does have something citrusy, but the apricot is not as juicy. The apricot is actually not even all that prominent. It smells more like a sweet, minty citrus fragrance. This one is a fruity mint citrus fragrance. So it's sweeter and the apricot is not as prominent, and of course the quality is not as great. I still have a rather thick oil stain on here, so it seems to be strong. If it lasts like 8 hours, I would say this is probably a good deal. Smell-wise, it does not scratch the itch of a Pacific Chill to me, personally. I would give this one, if I would rate it, I would give this a solid 7.5 out of 10. So that's better than I expected. It smells like a cheaper Pacific Chill, which is the mission, and they succeeded, I guess. Now, after drying a little bit, it gets even more of what I thought about initially, which is something I like to call a cheap citrus candy smell. And I actually get that from expensive fragrances as well sometimes. And that's the moment where I dislike that fragrance usually, not necessarily and always. In this case, it almost smells a little bit of sweet citrus gummies, basically. This one is actually also quite decent. The opening surprised me very much, but it lasted for like 30 seconds or a minute maybe. And then it turned also sweeter, just like this one. It smells better on the sprayer, and it smells better on the initial spray for like the first couple minutes. Now, after smelling the dry down, it smells actually quite nice. It's just that it smells even less of Afternoon Swim than Vibe does smell of Pacific Chill. In the opening, it was super close actually. Just the quality wasn't there, of course. On this one, I would say this is a solid 6.5, maybe 7 out of 10. So I don't think this is bad either. I'm quite surprised, to be honest. I think Maison Alhambra did a good job with these. I did not expect that. So if I have to be like super honest, I love Louis Vuitton Freshies for the quality. And these give me everything but the quality. And that's what I don't like about cheapies in general usually, and specifically in these cases. The problem is, if you want to go for a cheaper Freshie, there's so many good alternatives that still smell great. It does not have to be these DNAs. You would be better off paying like 50, 60 bucks for a very good designer, I would say. If it has to be these DNAs and you smell these and never smell these, you might think these are actually very good choices, and they actually are. So I can say these fragrances are not as bad as I thought. Please don't walk around, wear these and say you're wearing the original thing. As someone who knows a bit more fragrances or have smelled a bit more fragrances, I wouldn't usually go for these. You will smell so many fragrances and have so many choices because you're at like 20 fragrances or even 30. Some people have 100, whatever. Some people even more. You just won't be reaching for these. Like, just by intuition, you wouldn't be grabbing these over like some very good designers, like let's say Dior Homme 2020. It was a very beautiful citrus freshie. It's not super expensive. I would grab that one over these any day, to be honest. You're better off getting like a decant of the originals just to try and smell them instead of going for these. But still, I wouldn't say these are bad choices. These are not fragrances I would smell and think someone smells off-putting. I've smelled way worse citrus freshies. Yeah, I would say roughly these are good 6.5s out of 10. If I had to give like a rough first impression, the quality speaks so much for itself that you just have to get them, right? Or you just want to smell more of that. And it's those subtle differences that make a fragrance great, I think. I smell a specific thing within a fragrance, and that's the reason I want to get that fragrance. In these cases, there's a specific thing that kind of puts you off. Like in this one, the overly sweetness that you just don't want in that type of fragrance. And that was already it. My take on these two very decent fragrances. If you like this type of content, make sure to subscribe or follow whatever platform you're on. And then I hope to see you guys in the next one. Have a good one, and bye-bye.